Good evening and welcome to Wildcat News. I'm Grayson Moon.
And I'm Alexandria Bonilla.
Tonight, we're going to take a look at this week's lineup for our cardiac cats, same-sex marriage bill receiving support from the conservative side of Utah, a local bomb threat, the world of politics, and more.
So stick around and get comfortable because we'll be right back. Russell Scott Healy, an Ogden photographer, was recently sentenced to 2 consecutive 15-year terms in the Utah State Prison after sexually abusing 2 female customers. Sources say he has served previous time in the Weber County Jail after he was held in November of 2020.
4 students from the University of Idaho were recently found dead off campus. According to police reports, the students were stabbed in their beds. A suspect has not yet been found by authorities. Local law enforcement continues to investigate this tragic case.
The University of Utah Hospital had to evacuate patients and staff last week due to a bomb threat. A bag was left unattended in a bathroom and posed a potential threat. Salt Lake City police and the bomb squad deemed that the bag was not dangerous and it was safe to return.
I'm sure glad everyone is safe. Here with some brighter news, our very own reporter Kyle Housley was able to check out Artemis 1. Let's take a look.
The Artemis 1, one of NASA's most anticipated projects within the last 50 years, finally took off last week.
After some trouble at the launch pad early on the 16th, Artemis 1 was finally cleared for liftoff.
On behalf of all the men and women across our great nation who have worked to bring this hardware together to make this day possible, and for the Artemis generation, this is for you. At this time, I give you a go to resume count and launch Artemis 1.
And here we go.
10.
Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated. 7, 6, 5. 4-stage engine start. 3, 2, 1. Boosters in ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This launch and mission is being done entirely remotely with no humans on board.
So the point to Artemis 1 is to do a feasibility study, find out what things are working, what things aren't working before we commit to humans. And it's always wise to make your mistakes first in a low stakes environment where you're not going to risk killing anybody. Get all those bugs worked out, and then you make those changes to where you can now insert people into the equation.
The Artemis program's goals are to return people to the moon by finally sending women and people of color, start a moon base near its icy south pole, and gather information for an eventual manned Mars mission.
The Artemis program will let us know a lot more about our moon and will eventually aid in our travel to Mars so that humanity can continue to expand across the universe. I'm Kyle Housley, reporting from Weber State, Ogden, Utah.
Thanks, Kyle. It's so nice to see another successful NASA story.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump announced last week that he will run for re-election in the 2024 presidential race. Twice impeached and under FBI investigation of his Mar-a-Lago estate, this announcement came exactly a week after 2022 midterm elections as the Democratic Party took the Senate majority.
In other political news, the House of Representatives will have a new majority for the next 2 years. The Republican Party gained the majority this week by flipping 8 seats, getting them over the 218 seats needed for a majority. Republican candidate Blake Moore won the Utah District 1 seat over Democratic challenger Rick Jones. Nancy Pelosi will step down from her role as the Democratic leader in the House as well. Pelosi led the Democratic House for 19 years. Flipping over to the Senate, the Democratic Party will hold on to the majority for the next 2 years. And in Utah, Mike Lee will be in Washington for the next 6 years after keeping the Senate seat against independent challenger Evan McMullin.
This week, we have the opportunity to witness a conference championship tournament in our own backyard. Weber State's Cardiac Cats volleyball team will host the Big Sky volleyball tournament this coming weekend. Last week, the Cats lost to Montana State Bobcats. Fortunately, they were able to come back on Saturday to beat the Montana Grizzlies. This tied them for the third, and they are hoping to claw.
This season has flown by, I think. There's been highs, lows, ebbs and flows of everything going on. To be so close and to still have a little bit left in the gas is kind of fun. Our conference is a little bit interesting right now. We have a bunch of teams, 5 or so teams, kind of trying to chip away at the top 4 places, and so it's been interesting the last couple weeks to watch that kind of fall into place. But walking into our tournament, I think we're pretty excited about some stuff that we can do. We got to get in the gym and make sure we refocus a few tasks that we have, but I like that we're hosting it at home, so that's fun.
The tournament will take place in the Swenson Gym on the 23rd through the 26th.
Wow, that's actually a really cool opportunity. Weber State is going to be hosting the Big Sky tournament.
Yes, it is. Also, just throwing this out there, all Weber State students get into all athletic events as long as they have a valid student ID, so there's no excuse not coming out to support the home team.
That's actually a really good point. I think a lot of students should take advantage of that, including myself, because I have not been to a sporting event.
Well, I hear the Wildcats put on a pretty good show, especially this semester. They've been doing really good. Well, for more on sports, let's send it over to Windsor Moore.
Thanks, guys. It's been a big week for Wildcat athletics, so let's jump right into the action. Starting on the gridiron, the Weber State football team traveled to Flagstaff to take on the rival Northern Arizona for a newly introduced Red Rock Trophy. The Wildcats jumped to a quick 14-0 lead, but the Lumberjacks battled back and were on the verge of an upset. But the Cats were able to escape with a 33-31 win, thanks largely to kicker Kyle Thompson for 4 field goals. The win powered Weber State into the first round of the FCS playoffs, where they'll take on North Dakota in the first round at home in the Stewart Stadium. Kickoff is this Saturday at 2 p.m. The women's basketball team kept the wins rolling down by beating Utah Valley 55-44. Senior Jaden Matthews led the team with 16 points and 8 rebounds. While the majority of fall sports headed into the playoff season, there will be a lot of opportunity for fans to check out their favorite teams before finals week. For Wildcat Sports, I'm Windsor Moore.
Thanks for that, Windsor. The Wildcats aren't the only athletes killing it this fall. One local student athlete from a local high school earned statewide accolades this week.
Ogden High School's Nevaeh Peregrina received the Deseret News Miss Soccer title as the state MVP in girls soccer. She scored 19 goals this season and led the Tigers to a second straight title game. In addition, Peregrina committed to the University of Portland soccer team, where she will make her family proud as a first-generation college student.
In other local news, a woman was hospitalized last week when an SUV crashed through the wall of a Roy nail salon called Joy's 2. Roy police said that the crash was likely due to a confused elderly woman who put her vehicle into drive instead of reverse. The driver is unharmed, and the woman that was hit only had minor injuries. After the salon closed for repairs, customers were still showing up for appointments. Glad to hear that.
It's just terrible. I mean, it's such a great little nail salon, and the fact that they have to do so many repairs now and that they're going to be closed for a little bit, it's not ideal.
Customers are hoping for the salon to reopen soon. While the Joy's 2 salon has sustained considerable damage, efforts to repair the building are still ongoing.
In global news, according to the United Nations, the worldwide human population has reached 8 billion people. Growth rates in populous countries like the United States and China are actually slowing down, while 70% of the growth rate from the last billion came from elsewhere around the countries all over the world.
Well, that would make sense why the roads have been so busy lately. Maybe we'll have to consider taking the new bus system when it's finished. Let's look deeper into that with our reporter, Matt Harris.
You've probably driven past this, but the work in progress you see next to me is continuation of construction of Weber State's new electric bus line.
The electric bus line at WSU is one part of a greater plan by the City of Ogden to create a bus rapid transit system going through the city. Last August, the school opened part of the line with 3 stops through campus, and students flocked to it quickly during fall semester.
Utah doesn't have a lot of transportation ways, so I think it's a really nice way and I don't know a lot of universities that have something like this, so I thought this was really nice to come try.
The plan for the Ogden Express Bus Rapid Transit Line, known as OGX, is to connect Weber State's line all the way to downtown Ogden and UTA's Frontrunner Station.
From the very first day of school of this semester, this fall semester, students were clamoring to get on this bus. Hundreds and hundreds of students the first day. And throughout the semester, it's been a huge success already.
The project carries a price tag of $120 million, but the city and the school hope it will go a long way in making Ogden more environmentally conscious.
It's just keeping people who work and study and live in Ogden connected to the community.
Where I am now is a taste of the completion of where this project will go. This bus station here was constructed over the summer next to the Valet Browning Center. From here, the line will continue down to where we were at campus before, and will go all the way to the Ogden Frontrunner Station across town. This is just a small taste of what Weber State is doing to become sustainable all over campus. Reporting for Weber State University, I'm Matthew Harris.
Thanks, Matt. All this construction around Ogden can be really annoying, that's for sure. But let's get with Jessica Krog to get an update on the Weber Cares Pantry around Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm right outside of Weber State's very own Stewart Library, which holds the Weber Cares Food Pantry. The Weber Cares Food Pantry helps out students with food insecurity, meaning that they don't generally have access to food. Did you know that overall, 36% of college students have a sense of food insecurity or don't have access to food? Let's take a look and see what services they have to offer.
Since 2011, the Weber Cares program has strived to increase healthy eating options, decrease food insecurity, and increase students' ability to stay in school and finish their degree. The Weber Cares Food and Resource Pantry provides free food to the Weber State community to ensure food is not a barrier to academic success.
Definitely use your resources, use the pantry. You can use that once a week and grab as much as you need, especially during the holiday season when we're going on breaks. There's a lot of food available for you, and we're trying to get more available for you all the time as well. Definitely use the Money Management Center as well. They help you have like secure housing, secure food, and just make sure you're financially stable. Go to the Student Success Center. They have scholarships and financial aid for you if you need it as well.
The pantry is open for in-person services at the Ogden campus in the Stewart Library Room 224. Please visit CSEL and Shepherd Union Room 324 for assistance on Mondays through Fridays between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.
I'd say take advantage of your resources. Like the Weber Cares Pantry is here. I didn't know about it until last semester. So like reach out, talk to people. They're always willing to help you, friends and family. Yeah, look around.
Do you need some volunteer hours? They always love having volunteers help them, and you want to sign up through the GivePulse app on your eWeber account for a day and time that works for you.
As the holiday season approaches, let's not let that time of year be the only way that we give back to the community. If you're ever interested in what the Weber Cares Food Pantry is looking for, go visit the second floor of the Weber State Library and you'll find some answers. This is Jessica Kroc, Wildcat News.
What a great resource to have, especially around Thanksgiving. Thanks, Jess. And speaking of Thanksgiving and that holiday spirit, the Center for Community Engagement is once again partnering with Community Christmas. The event is designed to help bring resources during the holidays to over 2,000 children in the Weber, Ogden, and Box Elder counties. Tags with information about resource and gift needs can be found on the Christmas tree in the Shepherd Union building.
We're also partnering with the clubs and organizations, so if any of their members participate in Community Christmas, they get $20 funded for each person towards their club or org.
Weber State has sent 275 tags every year, and last year they had to ask for even more. Students and faculty can bring all purchased items to the Center for Community Engagement office in Shepherd Union building.
In other world news, Poland was recently hit by a missile strike, killing 2 Polish farmers. Authorities initially believed the missile was fired from Russia and headed for Ukraine, but further investigation suggested that it was likely a Ukrainian anti-air missile that failed to self-detonate and landed off course. Authorities believe the strike on Polish soil was likely a missile malfunction and not a premeditated attack on the country.
2 people were arrested in connection with what authorities believe is an underground gambling operation inside of a Salt Lake City business. Police seized 4 gambling machines, illegal drugs, and as well as large amounts of cash and a loaded gun.
Garrett Lee is taking a look at Weber State's Sweeney Todd production. Let's have a look.
Thanks, guys. I'm right outside the All Red Theater here at the Browning Center, where the Weber State Theater Department is performing the musical Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd is a musical created by Stephen Sondheim, but is more famous for its 2007 remake by Tim Burton starring Johnny Depp. The Weber State Theater Department brought the Gothic-style musical to the stage thanks to costume designer Catherine Zublin and scenic designer Porter Lance.
But Sweeney Todd is a really interesting play. It's dark. It has moments of humor. It's creepy, and the music's really hard.
The show was performed in front of sold-out crowds for the days it was performed. The Weber State Theater Department will perform 2 more plays from now until the end of April 2023 in the All Red Theater here on campus to close out their year. Now, while we may sit back and enjoy the sights of the theater, Zublin explains why the research is needed for the perfect design to make the show pop.
I've said this many times, and I can't stress it enough. My designs are only as good as my research, period. I mean, one of the, and I started when all research was just in my books, right? And the library. And now obviously I can Google things and find more stuff, and I can find really good artwork.
And while Sweeney Todd unfortunately does end this weekend, the theater department is looking forward to their next musical coming in the spring, Matchstick Girl. With Wildcat News, I'm Garrett Lee, Ogden, Utah.
Thanks for checking that out for us, Garrett. Walmart announced a settlement framework worth $3.1 billion to address nationwide lawsuits alleging failure to regulate opioid prescriptions to customers. The retail giant reported $573 in revenue in the 2022 fiscal year.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced Tuesday that it will support a federal bill protecting same-sex marriage, a 180-degree turn for the organization, which has publicly been long opposed to any such legislation. They are the latest conservative group to endorse the measure.
You know, I don't think any of us saw that one coming.
Yeah, I guess you could say Utah is of all things changing.
It's really good to hear. Beginning January 2023, Weber State University will offer a master's degree in physician studies. The newly accredited program offers a dual focus, so students will get an opportunity to work in primary care and hospital medicine, preparing them to enter the field. One of the program's goals is to encourage students to pursue healthcare careers while staying in the Ogden area, increasing the number of healthcare workers locally available.
It was sort of his thought, why aren't we keeping students here instead of sending them everywhere else for PA school? So
yeah, a bit of the dream and the passion of Weber State is addressing the needs of this community. And so Weber State University did a lot of research to find out the needs of this community, and one of those needs is clinicians.
The program has selected its first 20 students from a national pool of undergraduates. Graduates of the program are eligible for a national board certification, and once that is obtained, students are eligible to apply for a license to practice medicine.
That's going to be really convenient.
Yeah, right now, I'm really regretting my decision to not go to PA school.
You know, I wouldn't be too broken up about it because you probably wouldn't have gotten in anyway.
On that devastating note, thanks for tuning in. I'm Grayson Moon.
And I'm Alexandria Bonilla.
We hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll catch you next week with more news made by Wildcats for Wildcats. Good night.